All right. Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm not sure. Hopefully, V will be able to jump on here shortly, but I know many of you have been waiting quite a while, so I want to go ahead and get the show on the road, and hopefully V can make it in here shortly. Just want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, My Freedom Now. So make sure in the event that you're needing a loan, needing any type of debt consolidation, to check them out. myfreedomnow.us. I believe that's the link. And then also the Crypto School. Doing amazing things with the Crypto School, the cryptoschool.io. I love hearing those guys, listening to their shows, and hopefully we can get them on this week as well. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you go back, check out the interview that we did yesterday with Jim Willie, getting rave reviews, lots of views already, lots of great comments. So go check that out. Again, things are constantly changing, and it's just important right now to stay in tune to what is happening. So bear with me. It's a little bit difficult as I'm managing the controls and bringing up articles and those types of things so that we can make sure to share those. But the first conversation I want to have and jump into today, and I had to laugh when I brought up the Drudge Report because it specifically states, I'm not sure if anyone has caught this yet, but however, it looks like Kim Kardashian did make it to the White House to visit with Donald Trump. And I don't know what publication it was. I guess I could probably just bring it up, but they actually titled it on Zero Hedge. It listed it as Kim Thong Un visits Trump. And many of you know that, her husband, who has been really, kind of, a supporter of Trump, has taken a lot of Kanye West, obviously that's her husband, has taken a lot of backlash, from showing support from Trump. And she specifically has met with him. I'll go ahead and bring up the article as well, so that way you guys can kind of, keep up with what I'm discussing here. Again, bear with me for just a moment. Sometimes it's a little challenging when you're running the controls and everything else. I'm going to bring this up real quick. There we go. And hopefully you should be able to see that now. So you should be able to see it on the Periscope stream, the Facebook, everywhere that we simulcast to. You should be able to see that. So Kim Kardashian, who met with Trump to discuss a much needed topic, and it is something that is very important, and that is prison reform. And it's ironic she met with Trump. It would have been nice if Jeff Sessions was involved, so that way he specifically, could have listened to the same conversation, what Kim is advocating for. And the entire reason that Kim is advocating for prison reform was that she caught word of via Twitter, of a lady that was imprisoned for quite a while. She was it's unfair. Kardashian tweeted about hearing about Alice Marie Johnson. And Alice is the mother of 3 requested the White House meeting after hearing about the plight of Alice Marie Johnson. This is unfair, Kardashian tweeted back in October 2017. Sources told The Post that the Kardashian argued that Johnson, a Memphis great-grandmother convicted of a drug conspiracy, had paid her debt to society after 21 years behind bars and deserves clemency. And let's remember that this all stems back from the failed drug wars that were launched, several years back, where we're seeing, across the states, people were advocating for medicinal cannabis, the legalization. However, we still have an out of tune and out of pace DEA that they still list, cannabis, these drugs, as Scheduled I drugs. And so this is much needed. Now, again, it'll be touted, it'll probably be laughed out by the MSM, stating in the time of importance, why is he meeting with Kim Kardashian? Now, we've been talking a lot about Ross Ulbricht, and I think that there's some other people that need to get in, and it'd be nice to see Lynn Ulbricht in there with Donald Trump and talk about the injustice that was done to him with the FBI, kind of almost similar to what Trump is going through as well. So let's get Lynn Ulbricht a chance to get into the Oval Office. Let's not because here's my problem with this. Okay, here's my only problem with this. I applaud her efforts regarding prison reform and everything. However, we can't allow exposure to the Oval Office of just those elitists, those of social class. I won't even call her elitist because she really hasn't done anything to warrant her entire wealth. So that's the only problem I have with it. So let's pay attention to the grassroots movement, the Free Ross Ulbricht, Free Ross, those messages that need to be heard. And let's not also forget, Julian Assange, who is a true patriot, who has, shared all the information regarding what has specifically happened with the CIA. Let's not forget, that he is still, locked away in that Ecuadorian embassy, being completely shut down. Let's not forget about Edward Snowden, who exposed the amount of mass surveillance that has taken place, by the CIA, by these intelligence groups, and just entire dragnet of the population. So those are the things that I want to see, justice for. Those are the type of reforms I'm needing to see. And I'll go back to that same argument that I've stated, numerous times, and that's the fact that with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, I just don't think that we're going to see that, anytime soon. I may be wrong, but I hope that we do get to that point, that we do see that particular happen. The next topic I want to jump into real quick is that we have some economic data that's being released. Primarily, they're going to probably adjust the GDP a little bit, but that's not specifically what I want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is the massive tax cuts that were given to these corporations. And these tax cuts were specifically, designed to drive the economy for these companies, to reinvest, new products, new facilities, to help with the production of U.S. made goods. And what we're finding out is that the U.S. GDP was revised lower for the first quarter based upon the inventories that these companies are producing. The U.S. economy grew at a touch softer in the first quarter than originally reported, mainly because of a slower building of inventory. In inventories, gross domestic product was trimmed to an annual 2.2% versus 2.3%. Now, I think it's going to come down even more, from that, specifically because I think that the numbers here, we all know how they somewhat they get adjusted after the fact, after they're released. Many economists are stating to MarketWatch predicted gross domestic product would be unchanged. Adjusted corporate profits before taxes, meanwhile, fell 0.6% to mark the second straight decline. Now, what's interesting is obviously you see that is actual before taxes. So when you take a look at the actual amount of money that these corporations saved, the government tax haul declined to an annualized $328.2 billion from $445.6 billion. As a result, adjusted after-tax profits climbed 5.9%. Now, what specifically is interesting is that, what happened? What happened to that massive amount of money that these companies saved? Did they reinvest that? Did they utilize that big profit win from the tax cuts that eventually is going to come back and kick us in the tail? I've covered this. We've discussed this several times, but at the end of the Trump era, these tax cuts are set to roll back everything for you and I, except for the big corporations. So, I know we laugh at the time. We say during the years of Obama, the top 1% got even wealthier. Well, I think it's going to even be double that by the end of Trump's term, specifically because what are these companies doing? They are utilizing the tax cut money to go in, to offset, to pay off higher dividends to their shareholders, again, pumping up their own stock. And that's that whole thought regarding, the trickle down economics and things that are happening now. Before you comment, say, oh, CJ's being a social justice warrior and all. That's not what I'm saying at all. As I'm saying that first year terms tax cuts specifically, the only reason the economy is doing well, the only reason these companies are doing well is primarily because of the huge tax breaks. And I don't believe in the tax regardless. I'm a firm believer that taxation is theft. So what I'm getting at here is that if this was truly intended to drive the economy, to drive the job numbers, those tax breaks should have been tied specifically to some type of reinvestment. In other words, you get the tax break, but until you reinvest that money specifically into new facilities, jobs, maybe tax credits for hiring, you don't get that incentive. That's not paid to you in full. So it could have been done a lot better. And that's something that we specifically stated, time and time again. And it just leads me to believe, and I just worry about what's that second quarter going to be. What is with the trade wars that are being generated right now, the lower amount of not only imports and exports. We're seeing it on both sides. We're seeing on both sides in terms of the U.S. and the GDP is that we're seeing lower exports and lower imports. So what's left for the American taxpayer? We've exhausted that first year, tax cuts. We all know how we felt about the economy under Obama with the fake jobs numbers, the fake stock market. And unfortunately, under this administration, that is continuing. So right now, we're just kind of wait and see. I know that everyone's very concerned regarding the EU, the Italian banking crisis, what's happening there, which could spur major problems heading in. I think it'll be timed. I posted this on social media. I think it'll be timed. I think specifically when George Soros, when he comes out and says, oh, we're heading towards economic catastrophe and everything, I think it'll be planned. I think it'll be triggered. I can't remember what the percentages of the top 10 or 15% of people that control the most amount of the money, the world supply of money, and can easily manipulate things. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Will they use that as a 11th hour attempt to disrupt the midterms? Will they do that in 11th hour attempt to affect the 2020 election? I think they will. I think specifically that they will, because they all know the wheels are falling off the Russiagate. The wheels are falling off every attempt to label Donald Trump as a racist, label him as a sexist. The amount of things, the amount of obstruction that has been placed in front of this president is just beyond belief. So again, getting back to it. So what's going to happen come that the midterms this year, 2020? Let's shift gears. We do have a big day here at Rogue. So we do have Harley Schlanger that'll be coming on at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we also have 4 p.m. We'll have Cuss with Gus, which I'm excited about. We missed Gus last week. I thought he was traveling. And about 5 o'clock, I get a tweet or a text from Gus saying, "Hey, aren't we doing a show?" I'm like, "Sorry, Gus, I thought you were traveling. I thought I was waiting for him to drop the F-bomb on me or something, but he never did." But anyway, that's just for fun. So again, the other thing I want to talk about is regarding what current opportunity is in there, and this is something that we talk about considerably here at Rogue, and that's the fact that the potential amount of investment and the potential that are there with different companies that are moving towards blockchain, moving to solutions based on utilizing tokens and cryptocurrencies. And an interesting article came out from Zero Hedge, and this article actually states specifically that new reports suggest average ICO investor sees 82% profit. And this comes from Cointelegraph.com. Recent analysis of initial coin offerings has found that an average ICO investor sees returns of 82%, according to the published by the Boston College Carroll School of Management. So again, just the opportunity now, and that's why it's important to follow this. It's important to get involved to understand, specifically, what ICOs are doing, what ICOs are opportunities to get involved with those things. A 54-page report titled "Digital Tulips: Returns to Investors in Initial Coin Offerings" found evidence of significant ICO underpricing after analyzing a data set of over 4,000 planned and related ICOs. The ICO studied raised a combined total of $12 billion, almost all of them since January of 2017. So I know that I don't have time. I don't have time to do all the research on all the ICOs and read the white papers, understanding what these specific our ICOs are about. So, that's why I encourage you to join the trade room. So, get involved and join the trade room and learn about, I know it's a shameless plug right now, but it is what it is, right? I mean, I don't have the time for it. So that if I can spend some time in there and learn as far as, what their specific cowboy and what they're talking about as far as what the crypto is doing, what the opportunities are, things that they're saying, that saves me a lot of time and resource. And if we can make money doing it as well, that's even better for all of us. Do also want to thank James, the Russian analyst. If you have not done so yet, make sure to go to roguemoney.net. Make sure to check out, we did publish a couple of articles there on roguemoney.net. So go check those out. So James was working hard last night to get those articles up and posted. So James, thank you for doing that. We also had Bankster Slayer. Bankster Slayer also released an article, Ken Shortgun Jr.'s article, Petrodollar loses another customer as India agrees to buy oil from Iran in rupees, which is a whole other conversation in itself. And then also Bankster Slayer released an article called the Soul Contracts. So go check those out on roguemoney.net. Stay tuned right here. Again, I apologize for the late start, flying solo here today on Rogue Mornings. Again, V was on an international call that ran significantly late. That's the only reason. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll be delivering it even better show. So come back at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Hanging with Harley, and then at 4 p.m. we'll have Cuss with Gus. And if you have not done so yet, go back and check out. I listened to it a second time last night because I think it's just so important as the dynamics are changing so quickly geopolitically. I think we're witnessing the quickening here. The quickening is happening as far as the shift away from the dollar, and day after day, there's new stories emerging regarding the fact that countries are finding solutions, a way to do trade away from the dollar. So go back, listen to that great interview that V did with Jim Willey. It's posted. Please share that, get that out as well. So I want to thank you all for listening in. This is CJ with Rogue Money, and we'll be back at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for all listening in. Enjoy your day. Take care, everyone.